Welcome to Farming Fridays, a 6-week coaching program to help you change the way that you do business inside of your chosen field, real estate. Does your real estate career have a foundation? Do you have some income that you can count on every single year, year after year? Well, a geographic farm does just that. Once you build that foundation, and you start to implement all of the things that I teach you in this 6-week curriculum, you'll be able to count on your first stream of income each year, year after year. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to choose your farm and how to work your farm. So I welcome you, and I hope that you decide to follow along for the entire 6 weeks and you fully engage so that you do each assignment, because once you've done each of the 6 weeks worth of assignments, you will have a completed plan in order to dominate one geographic area, become the household name, and change your production. My name is Carrie Fitzpatrick, and I'm one of the lucky co-founders of this program who teaches, or that teaches, thousands of real estate professionals across the country every single week. I have a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in administration. And coupled with that, I have 30 years of residential real estate experience. 10 years selling real estate, 10 years administrating real estate. We had a brokerage that had 540 real estate professionals in it. Then I moved on to work for a national franchise company and helping all of their real estate professionals. And then 10 years teaching real estate professionals exactly how to do all of the things that I've either done myself or witnessed hundreds of real estate agents do. Having the ability to teach thousands and thousands of real estate agents is a really interesting coupling of my two chosen fields in life. Entering the real estate industry, I entered with Russ Fitzpatrick and Chip Isabella. Chip was my counterpart and Russ was my quote-unquote advisor. And having had Chip pick farm areas, Russ went to work saying, this is what we have to do. This is how we have to do it. This is what we have to pick. Taught me exactly how to choose a farm area that would work for me. And very quickly, I realized that that was the way that things should be done. And very quickly, I realized as I started to out-earn my ex-husband, who was making 6 figures at the time, that this could change somebody else's life. So I chose another farm area and I chose another farm area. And I was able to do that. And I was able to look back upon that and create a system that I taught my real estate professionals in my real estate company. And now I get to bring that to you. But I couldn't bring it to you without explaining how this program was built. You see, Chip and I started to build Farming Fridays as it's a standalone curriculum inside of our platform. He and I built it together because he and I worked our farms together. He and I built so many farms for our real estate professionals and for ourselves. One of the last things that we did, see, unfortunately, we lost Chip unexpectedly on May 19th. Basically, my best friend, not only in my work life, but in my personal life. My business partner, my best friend, who I miss dearly. And it would be a real waste for me not to be able to let him talk to you, to let him share his words of wisdom. So I'm going to take parts and pieces of the program that we put together, the parts that still, let's face it, some things in real estate never change. There are going to be words that he can impart upon you that will be very valuable to you. So it's not just that I miss him, it's that he actually has important things to say to you. What I would like to do is dedicate Farming Fridays to my friend Chip. Why would we even choose a farm area? What's the purpose? Why are we looking at this, and why is this such a big deal? Why am I spending 6 weeks with you guys explaining how to build a farm area? Well, we kind of came across something that was very interesting when we did a study. So if you look at the big bubble on the left side of your screen, 79% of the realtors out there earn under 40,000 in GCI, in gross commission income. And the median income of that group is $18,000. So we looked at that and we thought, that's pretty sad. Today we talked to brokers in our current month and 70% of their agents haven't even sold a home yet for the whole year. A whole quarter of the year is gone and not one sale. We meet agents every day that sell 4 to 6 homes a year for a whole year. So you're talking about a minimum wage type number. A minimum wage type number to that of an assistant manager at a dollar store in the residential real estate industry. If you're one of that level earners in this class today, I have some good news for you. You don't need a boss to come in and give you a raise. You don't need to wait for a review of how your performance is. You don't need to wait for any of that. You can choose right now to change the way that you do business. You can choose to select a farm area, and you can choose to ask of this business for exactly the amount of income that you want. And your income is unlimited. You can make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. It's just a matter of putting in the commitment that is needed and worry about why it is that there's such a separation. So if you're one of those people, you might want to take some notes. You might want to participate in our work bursts, and you might want to take a look at how you can do things differently in the coming year. You know, one of the things that we learned when we were surveying these realtors was that in the lower percentile of earners, only 16% of them said that they had a farm area or any specialization. They didn't really say how they worked it, but they had a farm area or a specialization. And then 9% reported that they had a farm area for more than 6 months. And 3% of this group said they had the same farm for more than 1 year. Only 3% of the people earning under $40,000. So what did that mean to us? Because when we looked at something that was very compelling, it was that 64% of the agents that earn over $100,000 in gross commission every year, that's 6 figures, all had a farm area for more than a year. And they said that they actively worked it and pursued it. So of that lower income group of people, only 3% said they had a farm, and who knows how they actually worked it. But in the upper group, 64% had them. Success leaves clues, guys. And these numbers held true to what we believed, what I was taught when I first started real estate, and what I truly believe innately. If you have a farm, if you work that farm, if you learn how to dominate that farm, then you can earn whatever amount of money you want to earn in this career. I want to quickly go over what our 6-week curriculum looks like. We're going to today talk about how to pick and work your farm area. In week 2, we're going to go over dissecting your farming prospects. In 3, we're going to build your brand around neighborhood culture using annual events. In week 4, we're going to say in with the old and in with the new. What? Wait, what? Yes, there are some old farming techniques that never go out of style, but there are new things that we can add into it to help you to work a little smarter, not harder. Then we're going to talk about managing your distribution team, and then we're going to talk about economies of scale. If you remember, I said earlier that I had 1 farm area, and then I went to 2, and then I went to 3. And when Chip speaks, you'll hear about his farm areas in how he chose them and what he was doing with them and how he grew his real estate career. When it's time for you to choose your farm area, there are 3 simple, very, very simple rules that you need to follow. And you need to set these rules in place so that you guarantee the success of your geographic farm business plan. Yes, we're going to write a business plan for your farm. We're going to tell you exactly how much you should spend. Those rules are very important because without doing the foundational work, without doing the investigative reporting, then you could choose a place because you liked the guard gate. You could choose a place because you thought it was pretty. You could choose a place because you wanted to live there someday. You could choose it for the wrong reasons. But the rules are put in place for a reason. We've taught these rules for years, and if you follow these rules, it is likely that you will become a success in that area that you've chosen. It's not only likely, it's probable and likely that we can almost guarantee your success in that area. So let's talk about exactly how you're going to choose your farm area. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chip so that he can tell you in his own words how we decided to build these foundations.
There are 3 simple rules that you need to follow. Never enter a geographic farm area where one listing agent closes more than 25% of the listings in that farm area. So just read that for a second, make sure you understand that conversation. I've seen a lot of agents pick farm areas because they live in them. They're like the guard gate. They're pretty. They want to move there. Whatever the case may be. That doesn't make it a good farm area, guys. That by default does not mean that you're going to be successful. My farm area was the ugliest, most unattractive, first-time home buyer, starter home area that you can get in outside of Coral Springs in Margate. It's called Oriole Margate. And you had to drive and zigzag down the street to get to the back of the neighborhood because of all the cars parked on the street on the side of the road, which I hate. I don't like that look in a neighborhood, but I know that it happens. People working on their engines, people with 3 tires on one on a block, and you know the drill. But I'd taken a listing in there and I looked at it and I go, man, this has the feel of a great farm area, because I would list them 120 to 150 price point, and they would turn over every 3 to 4 years. Young families starting out, start to have a family, they sell that home, buy a bigger home. They started to turn nicely. $600,000 homes don't turn that quick. $150,000, $200,000 homes turn pretty quick. So that's why I dialed into that. And I'm looking at it, and I went back and did this math. I did this stuff that I'm about to go over with you, and was able to tell that was a good farm area. So I started with 330 homes, crawl, walk, run, eventually got up to 2,700 homes. And we're going to have all those conversations with you. That's why I want you to stay with me, because all this stuff is going to unfold more as we move through this. And then I was able to expand it out and earn 6 figures every year. I just had to keep pumping the prime, send out my postcards, making my phone calls, doing all those different things that I do that I'm going to show you, and that money would flow in. So it was very comfortable coming into January, knowing I had a head of steam. I didn't have to start over, so to speak. And then again, it made my other sources of business better. I had more signs, I had more energy, more excitement, more things happening, able to brag about more things to other sellers and get more listings. So you can see that momentum effect that goes on. So in any way, don't go head to head when there's somebody else in there. If somebody's closing 1 out of 4 deals in there, they've got a foothold in there. You don't want to go in and attack them in this conversation. I mean, I don't know how to... I've seen agents that say, I could take him, I could handle him, I can handle her. Why? Just go next door. Nobody's farming that area. Just move over 1 subdivision to the right and you're good to go. So I hope that makes sense. But rule number 1, okay? Most important thing that we're going to do in farming, never go into an area where an agent has more than 25%.
So Chip talks about his farm area being ugly, and he talks about the reason that people choose a farm area, guard gate, monument sign, all those different things. Now, my story is very much the same, but a little tiny bit different. Of course, mine wasn't ugly. Mine didn't have people changing tires or fixing engines in the street. But what I did was I focused on a smaller subdivision, the ones that no one pays any attention to. I had a little subdivision called Governor's Walk. Now, that subdivision only had 108 homes in it. So I was able to farm in an area that most farming agents didn't pay attention. So one of the things that you can do while searching for your geographic farm area is look for a place that may be overlooked by other more established farming agents. And then once you become a more established farming agent, you can then move on to the larger ones if one comes available. So I just wanted to make that point very clear, that it's not just the Oriole Margates of the world, which is like a big old 330 home subdivision that you can focus on, but you can also focus on those smaller ones and maybe choose 1, 2, or 3 of them, get to know those 3 areas in their entirety, and then build from there. Which brings us to rule number 2. Never project more than 10% capture of the listing commissions during the first year of your farm.
We're going to do some conservative business planning in this conversation. I mean, we're going to, again, manage your expectations in this. We're going to make sure that there are realistic numbers that we could wrap our head around. And then, of course, we're going to expand from there. My gosh, the best thing that can happen is that we set a moderate level goal based on good math and good economics, and we exceed that. Okay, that's the worst thing that could happen in this. So I like that conversation, but never go out and project more than 10%. Managing that expectation, we're going to show you some math in this conversation of where to get that info from, how to go into it. That's going to be your work burst assignment, is doing these 3 rules so that you know you've got the right area. And then, of course, never spend more than 10% of your projected gross revenue on farming. So we want to spend 10 cents and we want to make $1. Very simple math. If you could follow those 3 rules and then implement the things that we're going to go over the next weeks, we're going to be having a different conversation. You're going to be calling me up and give me a high five. You're going to give me a hug if I ever get to see you. You're going to give Russ and Carrie a hug. You're going to give your broker a hug. You're going to be in a different place. You're going to have a different conversation in your life. I can tell you, farming is fun for me. It was one of my favorite things that I've ever done in residential real estate. When I managed brokerages or done seminars or done trainings or sold houses, farming has been one of the coolest things that I ever implemented. So stay in touch with those 3 things, and here's what's going to be your assignment moving forward.
The first thing you're going to do is you're going to review the most recent 24 months of closings in your potential farm area. Now, you might have to do this for a couple of different farm areas. You may not get it on the first shot. You can pick something that's cute, you can pick something that's ugly, you can pick something that's large, you can pick something that's small, but you have to inventory the names of the listing agents and calculate if any one agent is closing more than 25% has more than 25% of the market share. So let's say, for an example, that there are 25 homes sold. Agent A has sold 3. Agent B has sold 10. Well, you can do the math right there because you know that that's more than 25%. So you know what? Let's move on to the next one. So pick the next one that you think would be the most interesting to you, until you get to the point where you have found a farm area where there's no one listing agent that has any more than 25% of that market share in that area. The next thing you're going to do after you have looked at that is you're going to take and review that same 24 months of closings in that potential farm area, and you're going to calculate the total listing side commissions closed per year. So you're going to add it all up and say it's 5,700, it's 5,200, it's 6,000. You're going to add it all up. You're going to take the average of that, and then you're going to look and say, okay, so what is 10% of that? What is 10% of that gross commission income that was earned for that year? We also want you to realize that you're going to only probably capture about 10% of what is out there for the grabbing. The reason you're going to do that is because we never want you to spend more than a dime to take $1. So of the last 24 months, say there was, 200,000 in GCI, we know that you have the ability to capture 10% of that. Then you would do that math. 10% of that would be, you have a $2,000 budget for that farm area in the next year. That brings us to the last piece, which is the calculating of the 10% of the 10% to determine your gross operating budget. From that, we're going to evaluate that viability of this farm area from that so that we can check out and see what your budget is. And that 10% is your budget. So I'm going to let Chip give you a couple of examples.
I'm going to just run through them real quick. I don't want to overkill them, but just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. Sleepy Hollow subdivision in Coral Springs has 750 homes. Of course, when you're doing your research for your realtor to find out if they're dominating 25%, you can go ahead and get the average sale price. I'm sure the MLS will even pull up the data that shows you, so that you'll get the average sale price for that neighborhood. And that's going to be a very important number because we're going to base some of those commissions and things like that off of those closed sales of what that average sale price was. So you can see, and we just got some different years down here. And of course, they're going to be, depending on where we are right now, if we're in the beginning of the year or if we're in the middle of the year or towards the end of the year, however we can to those for that data. So if we're in November, we're going to do all of this year, and we're going to do next year, maybe half of the year before that. Right now, we can do like the past 2.5 years to get that sales data to start to paint a picture. And of course, it may change. Like 2.5 years ago, might have been fewer sales, and then it started to ramp up. But then we're going to start to look and get an average. So you can see here, 24 sales, 21, 29 sales. Quarter one, they did 7 sales, so we can multiply by 4. Realistically and say 28, all right, but those are the actual numbers now, and we take an average of that, and let's say, look, we're going to project 26 sales for this year, or we could be a little more safer and say, look, I'll project 22 sales out of here. So now we're starting to see if this really starts to make sense. We know the average sale price. We know that nobody's dominating 25%. We know that it's going to throw off some business based on the past several years trend. Are you with me now? Please tell me yes. So now we can start to look. Okay, we're going to do 26 sales at $335,000. That's $8,710,000 total volume per year. Of that, 522, 6%, we use as a number. That's a pretty standard commission scale throughout, is the gross commission income potential in that area. And then divide that out by the listing side commission, which is $261,300. That's what you can take on the listing side commission. So of that number in that farm area, that concrete data that you've just gathered, we can project $26,000 in projected income your first year. That's a safe number, guys. And you're talking about 335 at 3%. You're talking $9,000 in commission. You're talking just under 3 deals out of that farm area. So out of 26 deals a year, you think you could get 3? If you do the work, yeah, absolutely. I know you can. So that's a very conservative number. And some of you might be on the phone being 50, 60, 80, 100 grand producers going, I ain't doing any work for 26 grand. I want 50. I want 75. Yeah, we're going to get you there. We're going to get you to that point. Like I said a couple times, crawl, walk, run. We're managing your expectations in this conversation, something that we're starting new, something that we're starting fresh. So we're going to start with a very conservative number. Now, I can in good faith tell you that that number is ridiculous because it's going to be more. So, but if you're going in with a $26,000 target, you're going to hit that target every time, right in the bullseye. Is it fair and realistic to say of the 3 or 4 deals that you're going to do, one of them wants to buy another home? So he's selling his 335. Is it fair and likely he's going to buy a 550? That's normally the trend I've seen. So you're going to get the deal on the buyer side. And you got to add another 9, 10, 12 grand into it. So you're just taking it from 26 to 36, $40,000, just like that, just at the snap of a finger. So, and that happens. I mean, I've done a lot more business out of my farm. It's spun off, hey, Chip, my neighbor in the other subdivision wants to sell his home. Give him a call. I tell him how good you were. And I go over and list a home over in that subdivision. Hey, Chip, we sold our home here. Help us buy our next home. Happens all the time. Happens every year without fail. Multiple other transactions came out of that farm area as a result of that. So, but it's a realistic number for us to shoot for, and especially your first year, because it's going to go up year after year. You're going to go up 15, 20, 25% as you move forward. So hope I'm not browbeating it to death, but the most important thing that we're ever going to do in farming is these three rules in this conversation right here. So 26,000 is your projected income. Your budget is $2,613 per year. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. Spend 10 cents, make $1. 10% of that is going to be your return on that farm area. Very realistic, very manageable numbers. 2,600 divided by 12, you're looking at $220 a month, roughly, for marketing. Now here's the question now. Look, I'm starting out in real estate. Look, I've been doing it 8 months. I've been doing it a year. I'm not at that point yet. I don't have $200 to throw at it. I understand that. I get that. Just because I deem it appropriate for you to spend $220 a month doesn't mean that automatically happens. So I'm realistic in that.
So I let Chip do the first example. Now I'm going to do the second example for you. We have an example here called Fox Ridge in Coral Springs. It has 900 homes with an average sale price of $285,000. You'll see here that there were 29 sales in that year, 31 sales in our next sample year, 34 sales going up. And then in Q1 of that final year, we have 9 sales. If you multiply that times 4, you could safely assume that there are going to be 36 sales in that last year. So say you were in quarter 2, you would, if it was 9 sales, you would multiply it by 2 because you get the idea on that math there. So we take a look at that, and we're going to project that there are going to be 34 sales per year inside of that subdivision at $285,000 per sale. So that is a total volume per year in the whole subdivision of $9.69 million. Which has a potential of a gross commission income of $581,400, and that is about $290,000 a listing. So of that $290,000 total listing side commission potential, we're going to project that you're going to grab 10% of that. So the projected income from that farm area is going to be $29,000. Now remember, guys, I mean, you don't have to pick one. You can pick 2. You can pick 3. Remember what I said earlier, this career that you've chosen allows you to ask it for the amount of money that you would like to make per year. So you have the ability to take on multiple farm areas in order to up your GCI and up your income level, up your production level, so that you can change your lifestyle, your children's lifestyle, and your family's lifestyle in the way that you would like to. That gives us a total marketing budget per year of $2,907 per year. You do the math, you divide that by 12, and you have 200 some odd dollars per month that you're going to spend doing all of the things that we tell you to do in the next coming weeks. See, everything that we do is pretty much spend a dime, make a dollar. Well, we don't want you to have to go out there and spend a ton of money and it be something that you're going to go head to head with somebody who's been there for 20 years. After you've chosen your farm area, you've done all the math, you know what your operating budget is, you know all of the different things that you need to know about the fact that this is the one that you're going to choose, this is the one you're going to commit to. Remember, you cannot choose one and then try it for a month and say, oh, it doesn't work. That's the most just don't bother if you're going to do that. So it's really important that you do the foundational work, you do the things that you need to do in order to choose it. But having really all of the information is key. And I'm going to tell you that for this next assignment, the Google Maps is going to be your friend. Google Maps is going to be the way that you're going to get all of your information. What I'm going to want you to do here is to go through and do different searches for different things that are in the area. You're really wanting to become the expert in your geographic farm area. So you're going to want to know where all the churches are. You're going to want to know where all the parks are. You're going to want to know all the different things that are inside of your subdivision. So let's take a look. We're going to have a Worx burst, and your Worx burst is going to give you basically a form for you to fill out, It's going to pop up on your screen here momentarily, and you're going to fill in the name of your subdivision that you've chosen. You're going to tell us how many homes are in that subdivision. If your city, state, county uses a folio number or whatever the identifying number is that sets your homes inside of your farm area apart that are not subject to realtors information that they might put in, something that comes from the county, you're going to choose that. Inside of South Florida, it is a folio number that's 8 digits long that you're able to search and remove numbers in order to drill down into your area. You're also going to find out the public elementary school for there, the public middle school, and the public high school for your area that you have chosen to become your new geographic farm. This is basically your new store. This is where you're going to be you're walking in and you're opening up shop in this area because no one else has the market share so that you're able to take over. You're going to then find out not only where all these things are, but I want you to go in and drill down. So I want you to go in and search the malls that are in the area. So what's the most popular mall that's in that area, and how many miles is it from your subdivision, and how many minutes on an average day does it take? You're going to find out where the baseball field is, where the football field is, what the name of it is. Is there a baseball field that's different than the soccer field? Is it all one field that's together? You're going to put that in. How many miles is that? How many minutes away? What theater is the closest? Is it a performing arts theater? So is there something that's got live theater, or is it a movie theater? Where is it? How many miles? How many minutes? So that when you're having these conversations with these people, you know the different things that are going on inside of your chosen quote unquote neighborhood. You're going to find out which churches, the Baptist church, the Catholic church, the temple, the synagogue, where's the park, where's the place where the children can go and play at the park. What other recreational places are there? Is there a skateboard park there? Is there disc golf park there around you? Where's the major medical in that area, and how far away is the airport? Is it 20 miles away, or is it 5 miles away? Where are you able to? You're going to find out all of that information from Google Maps, and it's going to be a very simple search. You're just going to simply go to Google, you're going to type in those things, and you're going to have that information at your fingertips. Because what we're doing now is we're starting to build your foundation. We're starting to build what we like to call your binder or your file on the subdivision. But you're going to go a little deeper than that. You're not only going to find out what is going on inside of the community around your area, you're also going to dig deeper. You're going to go back into your MLS and you're going to find out the number of families that are in list pendants. You're going to find out the number of families who are renting. Well, how could I possibly find out that? Well, the number of absentee owners will help you to find out how many families are renting. You're going to have at your fingertips the number of homes that are purchased in the last 36 months. You're going to find out the number of homes that were purchased in the last 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20 years, and then 20 plus years. Because when you're going in and you're doing your research and we're teaching you these things in the latter parts of these weeks that we're doing this, you're going to need to know if somebody has been there for 20 years, there might be a chance that they have become empty nesters and that their children have gone off to college. Maybe the house is too big for them. Maybe they don't need that anymore. Maybe they're going to want to downsize. But having all of this information at your fingertips and knowing everything that's going on, it helps you to keep your finger on the pulse of your new store. So I want you to go to the website that I have placed on the screen for you, and you can enter in all of this information. You're not entering in this information so that I can have it and use it. What you're doing is you're entering in this information so that I know that you've done the work. We're going to go through, we're going to grade it, we're going to see what you've done, how you've done it, and the best way for you to move forward from here. So this is really a coaching relationship. This isn't you come to class and you do it. I'm going to ask that if you don't do this work, don't come to week 2. The reason that I say that is because without this work being done, by the next time you watch one of these classes, you're going to be lost. You're not going to have the information that you need. We're going to build week by week on all of the information that we have here. We're going to build week by week and really help you to build a foundation for your real estate career. So on behalf of Chip Isabella and myself, I want to thank you for coming to week 1 of 6 weeks for Farming Fridays, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.